A sunny but quite windy afternoon here in the Masai Mara. My name is Brent Smith and I have Adrian on camera, and I decided to go to an area I have not been to since I've got back from leave, and that is the forested area along the edge of the Mara River and the Samaki Swamp. And I'm hoping we will find some lions down there, and I always think I'm going to find a leopard when I go down there, but alas, not yet. Maybe today is the day. Always good ellies, buffalo, general game and birds in the swamp. So always a good area to start. So we're just going to meander our way slowly down towards that area. And remember, if you have any questions for us, hashtag Safari Live on whatever medium you might be watching us on. And another nice thing about this area is there's always a good chance at black rhino. So a very good area for all sorts of things. So fingers crossed, we have all the luck today. We had a lovely morning, not too much action-wise, but nice sighting of the Magoro Pride, some hyenas about, some nice elephants, and so it can only get better this afternoon. Now, a lot of you noticing my hair has not been cut yet, unfortunately. The people who are going to cut my hair are busy at the moment, so I need to find a moment when they're not too busy to attack my long locks. And there's one person there's a few people I'm definitely not letting near my hair, as they will try to do something ridiculous to it. One of them is Genre, who's on camera with the other person I won't let near my hair, and that's Taylor McCurdy. So, if Taylor did happen to get near my hair with a pair of scissors, I think I'd have to sneak into her tent with a hair shaver. But let's go see what Madam McCurdy has to say about that scenario.
Speechless. How dare you, Brent, say you're going to shave my beautiful golden locks? Promise you, you'll disappear. The hyenas will get you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Genre. And if you're lucky enough, he may do a sing-along with you a bit later. Now, for those of you who have only joined us for the first time on Safari Live, we do look at wildlife as well. We've just got to find it first. But remember to hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can also talk to us via the YouTube chat. So, essentially, I think we're going to keep going. Let's not waste any time, because I say this and I cannot get the car into first gear. But we're going to head towards the Marsh, down that way. And we're going to try and get there as quickly as we can, because we kind of have a plan this afternoon. We'll see how long I can actually maintain that plan for. We'll try my best today. So we're going to do elephants in the Marsh, and then we're going to go around and have a look at the Magoro Pride, the Pride of Lions that Brent was looking at this morning. We also had one of the Magoro Lionesses the other day too. So we might pop past there, see if they've woken up or if they're doing anything interesting. If not, we have a backup plan. We will try and find that hyena den that Rolf has been spending so much time at, and seeing if those little ones are awake could be quite fun. So that's our plan for this afternoon, and then go back to the lions and then hope that they've woken up. But maybe we won't need to do any of that, because the lions will be up and running around and doing all sorts of exciting things. But I feel like the elephants are going to steal their thunder first. They won't take this road, we'll take one of the others up a little bit further. Actually, I'm just trying to see, I don't see as many elephants in the marsh as we have been seeing. Perhaps they're across the river. Today, it has been an okay day, not much sun, quite a few clouds around, but I don't know. I don't know what to say about the weather anymore. It's still very, very hazy. And then, of course, the jackals are always on the cards, because they like to wander around on this road if they haven't left home yet, which that day is getting closer and closer. And that's why I try and find them for almost every drive, at least put a little bit of an effort in to try and search for them. So that's what we'll be doing. Maybe a bit of birding. I'm sure we'll be doing a little bit of birding. That's always happens on every safari. Brent has told me I need to go and add the straw coloured wider, a little wider, yeah, to my list. So He says I should see it around Hippo Pools, that area. So that's what I'm going to do. It's definitely a bird I've never seen before. So that could be interesting. Oh, I've spoken utter nonsense. There's lots of elephants in the marsh. So we'll go there and we'll try and get a bit closer to them. Right, speaking of elephants, Brent has already beaten us to it. It seems as though the competitive streak is hot today. Let's go and look at his elephants.
Look at this. It is a lovely elephant bull, absolutely covering himself in mud. And as well as eating out of the same puddle he's been spraying all that mud onto his right-hand side with. Let's hope he goes and decides to start spraying himself again. He's really coated the one side. The other side's looking a little bit short on mud. Now, I have seen this bull before. Look at that. Absolutely covered. And he was spraying himself with mud. Now he's taken a stop to eat some of the more sort of aquatic grasses that are growing in that little puddle. He looks very, very happy. There you go. And you can see the topi in the background, but they're them spraying away. And then, munch, munch, munch. He's got the best of both worlds there. A spa and a salad. D. Godfrey says, what a handsome guy. Indeed he is. Not the biggest tusks, but definitely an adult, so over 30. And in his prime. Now, I know Taylor's going to look for straw-tailed whiters, but it seems like she's found another bird in the meantime.
Well, we found the other one, the one that I can actually get its name correct. The pin-tailed whiter, sorry everybody. The straw-tailed whiter is what I was trying to talk about earlier. I've just never seen it, didn't even know it existed, but now I do. But here's a feathered friend that we are all very, very familiar with. And again, I love to see in nature what you can use as a windsock. You can also use a pin-tailed whiter's tail, and of course that must be the male. Because the girls don't have a long tail. Now, I don't know what that is sitting next to it. I was hoping Chandre wasn't going to show it. It's a testicular of sorts. Thanks, Chandre. I don't know what it is. Shall we try and identify it very quickly, seeing as though the pressure is now on? Because it's not a rattling testicular, but because I think they all look the same. Brent can call me an average birder. Hi, my name is Taylor and I'm an average birder. I'll just get that out of the way and we'll try and figure out what this is together. Let's go 502. Let's start there. It's got quite a rufous head. It's heavily streaked, as you can see. And what else? Yeah, I'm going to go with rattling testicular on this one. But you can tell me if I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, you can hashtag Safari Live and let everybody know. And like I said, I'm not very good. It doesn't look like a female pin-tailed whiter, unfortunately. The beak is all wrong there, all wrong. But one day when I'm big and strong, I'll be much better at identifying small LBJs. And we'll carry on. Right, Brent is still with his elephant bull, and we're going to be looking for a herd of elephants so we can compare the two. So let's go watch that big boy have a mud bath.
He's back on the salad, and you can see it's a vegetation that's actually growing in the water. As he pulls it up, the mud drips off. Now, shame, maybe Taylor's selling herself a little bit short. She's maybe a slightly above average birder rather than an average birder. But we have been trying to teach her, but she is quite difficult to teach, Madam McCurdy. I'm only joking, of course. Taylor is an absolute joy. There we go, look at this. Between bouts of spraying himself and bouts of munching away. Of course, these big boys need to eat about 200 kilograms of vegetable matter in a day. So the majority of a big elephant bull's 24 hours is spent after searching after food. Look at that. Now he's just moving down from puddle to puddle, munching away. big gentle giant. As wonderful it is to see elephant herds and spend time with babies, I definitely feel there's something special about spending time with big bulls. They sort of just have that nonplussed sort of attitude. There's not much out there that can give them any problems at all. There we go. Now it's time for another splish splash. Now, D. Godfrey is wondering, do they ever eat the mud? Well, in situations like this, inadvertently, yes, they will eat some mud by accident. Now, certain types of soil and mud they'll eat on purpose. Excuse me. Especially areas that are high in salt or minerals. The elephants will actually eat the mud to supplement their diet if they feel like they're missing certain minerals from their diet. So elephants do eat mud, and so do a lot of animals from time to time. And in certain parts of the world, even people will eat mud to get nutrients out from the mud. So quite often it'll be stuff like salt or iron or whatnot. Certain types of soils hold quite a lot of that. And I've seen people in the rainforests of Gabon, and elephants for that matter, eating certain soils to get nutrients that they're lacking in their diet. Okay, well, he's still going to carry on munching. Oh, he's off. He's off. It looks like he's almost out of the puddle now. And you can see he seems to be favouring wetting the one side rather than the other. Is he heading back towards the first puddle where we saw him? Yep. Now you can see it looks like he's making mud with his foot. He's not after any food in there. And you can see where his, just come out a little bit please, Ed. You can see where his trunk occasionally brushes, there we go, across his tusk like that, and you can see how it cleans the mud off. Now, even though elephants have incredibly thick hides, there are fly species that can penetrate and can irritate them, as well as ticks, so that mud is a useful covering to protect them from biting insects and arachnids. And of course it also helps cool them, although it is quite chilly today, so I think he's doing it more for enjoyment than for cooling. And the fact that he's favouring here behind his right ear means there could be something that's maybe slightly irritating him behind that ear. Isn't that beautiful? And you can see he's had a bit of a cartilage failure in that right ear. You can see those tears in that. That's not uncommon in elephants. As they get older, the cartilage sort of bends and breaks under the weight of their massive ears. Because you must remember that each of those ears can hold up to about 2 pints, just under 2 pints of blood, about 8 liters of blood in one ear. So it does have to carry a great weight, and of course it's very important it's the elephant's cooling system. Well, it looks like he's done with his mud bath, and he's heading off towards the little lugger in the distance, and we're going to head off towards a much bigger lugger, the Mara River, which is up ahead of us. Oh, well, it sounds like the hurdy-burdy McCurdy's got something hiding in the grass.
We do, hiding in the grass, and that must look very much like wet elephant dung, but it isn't wet elephant dung, it is a terrapin. And this is a very large terrapin. It almost looks like a snapping turtle. Not that I've ever seen a snapping turtle before. But there it is, just in the grass. Now, the reason why it is out of the water, because normally we see them in the water, although they can handle themselves out on land too, is it was in a rut in some water, which is of course very dangerous. So I saw it swimming away, and I created a wake and helped it out of its little rut, and now it's probably waiting for me to go away. So before it dries out and shrivels into a prune, we'll probably let it carry on. Good luck, terrapin. Not that I actually am not too worried about it, because there's so much water around. Right, so we're going through this little area. This is where I've almost got stuck a few times as well. It's a bit sludgy, but it's dried out quite a bit, so it's not too bad anymore, which was quite nice. But after all that rain, remember we came driving through and there was just water spraying up onto the hood of the car, and it was difficult to stop because of all the elephants, and you don't want to get stuck. What a dilemma. But there are some elephants up ahead, and it's going to take us a while to get there. We can't particularly go very fast. Oh, it's very bumpy. Okay, we'll just let the car do its own thing, and I won't touch the steering wheel. It's nice. It gives your arms a break. You can stretch. Oh my. Now, Tim, you've just said you were hoping that either Brent or I would find a sausage fruit to show you with a Kim. Rebecca. Megan has just said Kim like Kim Kardashian. Thank you very much, Megan. I would never have guessed otherwise. Sorry, Kim. I'm so sad that you're just saying this to us now. We'll try, but there's actually a big sausage fruit sitting outside of James's studio, and I could have packed that in to go. We could have had a look at it, but unfortunately I did not. So you just have to bear with us just for a little bit longer, because we're almost at the elephants. We just can't Ferrari safari on over there, because we don't want to upset the elephants. Oh, but it's lovely. Oh, sorry, that was a big bump. I think lots of people have come driving on through here. Jeandre's holding on for dear life. Trying to keep that camera as steady as possible. But you can see the elephants now. We're slowly getting there. Okay. I'm trying to think, Kim, of any trees this side that have got fruit on. Quite a few down near the border, but I haven't seen any up this way. So I don't know how much luck we're going to have. On the other side of the river, they all seem to be fruiting. Hi, elephants. There we go. Hello, big girl. Of course, got to greet the main lady when you see her. And that's the one with the tusks that are almost crossing. She's a very large elephant. And there are lots of various ages in here. They're all so busy. Everybody's munching away. Even that little one's giving it a bash. You can see, twisting and trying to pull that long grass. Now, Brent, you're wondering if an elephant would ever scratch one another. Scratch one another, what, like when you and I say, oh, I've got an itch on my back that I just can't reach, and then your friend scratches it for you, something like that? Sometimes the little ones rub up against the adults and use them as rubbing posts, but typically, when you're the size of an elephant, you kind of have to use a tree or a stump or a rock or something that's not going to move around as much. But sometimes I suppose they rub up against each other. But not like, well, yeah, they don't reach over and scratch each other's backs if they're itchy. They typically do that. What have you found? Investigating with its trunk. You could see, looking for something. Maybe it's got a bit of water on it, doesn't like to get its trunk wet. It could happen too. Now, Tweety Kid, I kind of agree with you on this one. You said that you think elephants are far more emotional than humans. Well, I suppose yes and no. Although that's why I wish I could speak to elephants, so I could understand what they were saying to one another, and you could really see how socially and emotionally advanced they are. But we clearly see it in the behaviors interactions between one another. They're very affectionate. They play a lot, just like children do. They show when they're distressed. They show when they're excited. So yes, I suppose we do see all those same emotions. One of my favorite things is when an elephant walks up to your car and walks past your vehicle, very calmly, of course, and you are able to stare them in their eye. That's a pretty special moment. And obviously, as guides, we're often taught to say, just to try and keep our guests under control. Sometimes they can get a bit rowdy on the car, unfortunately. It's very exciting coming on safari, as you can imagine. You can hear how we squeal at sightings, and we get to see these animals every single day. So you imagine if it's your first time, you can't control yourself. And one of the things we're taught to say is that, and the animals see the vehicle as a solid shape. Now with elephants, nah. They know how many people are on that vehicle. They know that you're individuals in this big thing, and you see it when they walk past you, and they almost look you in the eye too. It's a very soulful experience, and the whole herd's come together a little bit now. Little ones grazing next to their mums. Can you hear the tearing of the grass? Maybe. It's not too windy, so you should be able to hear it. It's quite a cool sound. I think that's a sound I'm going to miss falling asleep to. Except it's not normally the elephants, it's the zebra around camp. But they make a similar sound when they grab onto the grass and pull it out of the ground. But they're thoroughly enjoying the grass at the moment. And they're very healthy looking elephants. I'm not sure what the ellies are looking like at Djuma at the moment. I know there isn't much food around for them. So these guys are fat. And I know a lot of you are going to say, no, you can't call an animal fat, but it is. Fat animal is a good animal. A thin animal is not a good animal. It means that it's sick and unhealthy. So I will use the word. Voluptuous. Now, First Lady, you're wondering, why do the Mara elephants have such huge tusks? Not like this little one. You haven't got your tusks just yet. Or maybe you won't get them at all. I suppose it's just got to do with the genetic line that's up here. They're the same species of elephants, of course, obviously slightly different. Remember, animals will adapt to their environment and the climate, so there might be some slight variations, but I have noticed that the girls up here have big tusks. There are some elephants in Kruger where the girls have got rather large tusks, but you normally see massive tusks. I mean, some of them out here have been incredible. I've had to do a double take and make sure that it wasn't a big bull, when in fact it has been a cow. But other than genetics, I wouldn't imagine any reason. I'm surprised though. I'm just trying to think. I suppose if your tusks are a little bit shorter, do you not think it would be a bit easier to use them as a digging tool like they use them down in South Africa? Like obviously in the Sabi sand where winters are harsh, there's no rain, there's no food, and they have to dig for water. It might help to have shorter tusks. You might be able to use them a little bit better. Whereas if they're really long and stretched down to the ground, I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe they'd be even more effective. But here we don't see the elephants digging often. And there's no need for them to dig. There's no need for them to dig for water at the moment. There's plenty of water in the Mara River and all the luggers and dams are full, or the few dams that there are. But the luggers and the mud wallows are most certainly full to the brim. And in terms of food, well, they've got all this grass that they can eat, and if they are wanting a bit more sweetness in their diet, they can move to the forests and feed on the Diospyros fruits and all the other fruits that are dropping from the trees at the moment, which we see in their dung, so we know they are changing it up a little bit. So yeah, but it's very cool out here this afternoon. It's quite a pleasant day. Now, another animal that we said we were going to be looking for is, of course, the hyenas. We haven't seen any just yet. But again, Brent has gone and beaten me to it. So let's go have a look at a very sleepy hyena.
Well, see, on our way down to the river's edge, we just keep getting distracted. And there we go, we've got two very comfy looking hyenas lying in some luscious green grass. Probably enjoying the cool weather and the wind that's keeping some of the biting insects at bay. It's the ear flick to keep the buzzing flies that brave the wind at bay, but as you can see, they're not flicking their ears nearly as much as they would if it was a still day. You can see the Thompson's gazelle and waterbuck in the distance, and a buffalo as well, and some zebra. Always a lot of general game on the short grasses at this time of the year. There's another buffalo there as well. Oh, and we've got two female ostriches walking across the short grasses, and some warthogs and topi. Lots of stuff happening here. Here we go. Isn't that wonderful? Absolutely beautiful. Now, let's keep on our mission to try and get down to closer to the Mara River. And while we meander down, Rick is wondering whose idea was it to start Safari Live? Well, Rick, it was our boss's idea. So, our fearless leader, Graham Wallington, he had a dream about doing live safaris for many, many years. He actually started off with cameras in the mid-90s on water holes that used to update a JPEG. So a static picture used to update every 30 seconds. So that's where it all started. And the idea progressed and moved, and technology changed and moved till we're able to now bring you 100% live safaris from not one but two different iconic African locations at the same time. So in an hour or so, we'll also be joined by Djuma, which is in the Greater Kruger National Park in South Africa, and we'll be able to take you to and from both places. So well, I find it quite amazing that we are able to do that. And yeah, so Graham Wallington, that's whose idea it was, and who's still at the forefront of bringing you live African wildlife wherever, all over the place. So there you go. Linda actually remembers the JPEGs, the 30-second refishing JPEGs from long ago. I think the first time I saw them, I was in my first year of high school. And I remember having a look at that in my first year of high school in about 1996 or 97. 1997 was the first time I saw the 30-second refreshing JPEGs. Okay, before I get distracted by something else, I'm going to zoop down towards the edge of the Mara River. While we do that, let's go see where Taylor's off to next.
I've only moved about 200 meters since you last saw me. I haven't really gone anywhere new just yet. So we're just driving. We're moving out of the marsh and we're heading towards the Magoro Pride. But we're nowhere near the Magoro Pride just yet. That's still very far away down near Hippo Pool, so we've got driving to do, but we'll see what else we can see along the way. I'm scanning for things to look at. I can see some elephants, but they're far away. Now, Zay, you're wondering how fast do these vehicles go? Not particularly quickly, because they're about 25 years old. These cars are actually as old as I am. So they won't go as quick as they can, and then you're also really scared to go fast in them. You don't really want to, because they have a mind of their own, and then sometimes they go this way, sometimes they go that way, and then the brakes don't work. No, I'm just joking, it's not that bad, I'm just being dramatic. So I don't know, I mean, this old car, I wouldn't drive it more than about 80 kilometers an hour, and I think even then that would be quite a push. So we'll just stick to our 20 to 30 kilometers an hour. Sometimes we push it up to 40 when we're chasing after something. We'll have a very quick look at these elephants, but then we must keep moving. But there they are, some more elephants. These ones not feeding in the marsh, but feeding in a little forested section. And it's actually windier here than where we were. But again, like I said, that marsh area is like a big seep hole. You sit quite low in it, and then, I don't know, I suppose you don't get the wind as much. But here you can see the wind is blowing quite a bit. The trees are moving. The elephants are, of course, flapping their ears on their own. That's not the wind doing that. And then some small ones too. A little one that you can just see its head over the top of the grass. Not a big group though. Just the 4 of them. There are a couple more coming, so they could be part of the same herd. Sometimes we do see this. They spread out when they feed. You might see within the herd the different families just going off and feeding. She's got quite big tusks. Now, Olivia, you're wondering what is the purpose of the hair, the elephant's tail? Well, other than, I suppose, being a fly swatter, I'm not really sure what the function of the hair on the elephant's tail is. Gendre, have you heard of anything? Toothbrush, says Gendre. Yep. So what they normally do is that they reverse into each other, and then they go, ah, and then, well, they stick the tails in each other's mouths and scrub away. I'm just joking, that's absolute hogwash. That does not happen whatsoever. I would think that they're just fly swatters, and then also to whip your youngsters, apparently. Did you see that? The mom sort of turned and moved the other one with her body, and then swatted a fly, I would assume, at the same time. But I suppose if your little elephant calf is being a bit naughty and getting out of hand, you could use your tail to sort of say, hey, get in line. And sometimes the little elephants hold on to like an adult's tail when they're walking, but you don't see that very often. Well, I haven't seen it very often. No, all huddled around there. Look at that older calf trying to sneak a suckle. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to get another nudging and swatting if you're not careful. That calf is most certainly not supposed to be suckling. They would have been weaned quite a while ago. But they do that all the time. They take chances, these young elephants. They definitely do. Was there another small one in there? Oh my goodness, that is a tiny tot there. You can't even see it. Just see a shadow every now and then moving underneath Mom's belly, sticking right next to her side. So that must be quite a young elephant. I'm not even going to try and guess how old it is because I can barely see it. But the fact that it's hugging pretty much Mom's heels must mean that it's fairly new. Now, Kate, you're wondering if these smaller herds will ever form one larger herd permanently. So typically you see them when they're traveling, when they're migrating, say, to new feeding grounds. So remember, animals, especially up here, they're constantly migrating and moving around searching for food and water. So when that happens, you might find different parties would come together, but they don't necessarily stay together forever. They will go their separate ways once they've reached the point. I suppose it's like a big bus. They all hop on, they all go together, and you jump off at different spots. And obviously in a herd, they're not really in a bus. They're just walking. But so that can happen, of course. I mean, I've never spent. Honestly, I spent a lot of time with elephants, but I've never seen, or I've never been able to tell whether two different family groups have come together and formed one permanent one. Maybe you'd be able to see something like that and be able to understand what's going on if it was on a small private game reserve, say where it was fenced off and the animals couldn't migrate freely. But out here where it's an open system, it's very, very difficult to try and keep tabs on the same herd. Now we can see that little one's coming out a bit better now. So typically when they're moving around looking for food and water, you'll see those big groups come together. Normally during the winter months, you'll see bigger herds of elephants in the greater Kruger. So I'm surprised we haven't been seeing them. But again, unfortunately down in the northern Sabi sand, there's no big river systems, so there's not a lot of food around during winter, and that's where all the animals are going. Unlike here in the Mara, where everything is just green all the time, and it sometimes changes and goes a little bit yellow, but other than that, it's pretty nice all the time out here. There's lots and lots of food around. I tell you, the animals in the Sabi sand would be so happy if they could see all this grass again. But let's carry on. They're disappearing now out of our view. Oh no, I'm sure we'll find some more elephants somewhere. But we're still, of course, on a course in that direction, and hopefully we'll stick to it. Brent is on a mission. I don't know if he's looking for lions or black rhino, whatever it may be. I'm sure it'll be lots of fun to join him.
Well, we've come across another roadblock. There's a tiny little eddy. There's two, but that one's on the left, on the other side of the road. Look how little that one is. Now, I can't see any adults. I've only got these two, but I am in a forested area. So the adults are probably very close. Oh, there, look at that, just appearing out of the crotons. That's probably Mom. Isn't that cool? Hello, little chap. Or chapette, I can't really see just yet. Very young, couple of days. Still weak at the knees. What a lovely surprise. Well, it seems like it's going to be an elephant afternoon, well, the beginning at least. And we get some wonderfully relaxed elephants, particularly in this area. Oh, look how sweet it is. AH is wondering what happens to tusks that break off. Is it illegal to have them? Most definitely. If you're caught in possession, you could be looking at some jail time. What the best thing to do is, if you ever see a piece of ivory Don't pick it up, leave it exactly where it is, mark the GPS coordinates and report it to the park rangers. Oh, look at that little one trying to learn how to use its trunk. So it still hasn't mastered the art. Oh, isn't that sweet? Stay there, Bush. I'm going to grab you. I have to use my feet. Definitely more control over its feet than its trunk at the moment. It's just playing with the bush there. Oh, there we go. You got one. You got a leaf. Well done. Oh, you dropped it. Silly thing. This is just too cute. Now, they're feeding under a big Diospirus, or type of jackalberry or African ebony. Now, the fruits are quite sweet. Now, just watch how her trunk is searching around. She's not picking up grass. She's definitely looking for fruit that's falling off the Diospirus. And if we're lucky and we sit here, they might come very, very close to us. At the moment, they're about 15, 20 meters away from us. But hopefully they'll walk closer to us. So I'm not going to move the car. We're just going to sit here quietly and let them come to us. They might not. They might head towards the next Diospirus tree, which it could be in the forest, but hopefully looks like they might go back into the forest. But look, oh, little one looks like it doesn't have a tail. Oh dear. And it looks like it lost it quite recently. Now, those type of injuries are often from hyenas or lions. Normally hyenas. Let's just zoom in on that on the tail, where the tail should be again. Yes, you can see there is a wound there. Sometimes, quite rarely, it could be from a fly species, but I don't know, that it looks almost too perfect, too clean to have been a predator. So maybe it could be from one of the fly species. Although it has healed quite a bit. It definitely looks like there was a tail at some point. Shame, little one. Now, apparently Taylor had a baby elephant with no tail that was bleeding. I wonder if this could be the same one. I'm not sure. Maybe if Megs can ask Taylor where she saw it, or if it was in a big herd or a small herd. It looks like that she's heading towards the next Diospirus or ebony tree that's there. Still sniffing along the ground. There we go. It looks like she found a nice tasty piece of fruit. Apparently Taylor saw it in the marsh, which I'm assuming is the Samaki swamp, which we're not too far away from. So it could very easily, I just don't know how old the one Taylor saw was. This one I would say is probably about a week to 10 days old. Karen is wondering, will the elephant grow its tail back? Unfortunately not, Karen. It will not grow back. Once it is gone, it is gone. Unlike certain reptiles that are able to grow their tails back, geckos, skinks, crocodiles to a degree, but elephants and most mammals will not be able to grow back an appendage that's lost. Shame, little one. Well, good thing is it doesn't look like it's infected or anything like that. It looks quite clean and quite healthy. Oh dear. Little traffic jam disappearing into the forest. Okay, well, isn't that wonderful? So nice to have little Ellies so close. You know, hop through now. So the Mara River is just to the left of us here. So I'm going to jump on the road that goes around the edge of the forests.
Oh my goodness, gremlins. Sorry everybody about that. Brent will be okay though. I think the cuteness gremlins took the feed there. We're still just driving through these patches of grass where there's very little, I'm afraid, but I'm looking because you never know what might pop up out of the grass. Maybe a bird, maybe a big bird like a Corey bustard. I believe Brent saw Corey bustard chicks, which is very cool. Never seen those before. I know it was in the long grass, so it wasn't particularly easy to see, but that is quite amazing though. Right. Now, Megan, who's directing today, has told me that her bird list, her real life bird list, is on 51. So she doesn't include birds, unfortunately, she sees on screen. So today she saw 2 new ones. She saw crowned hornbills, which were flinging themselves along against the windows, chasing after their reflection. Woo! What are those? Little quails of sorts. Gone now, though, into the long grass. And what else is the other one? Megan, there was one more bird. Oh yes, the violet-backed starlings. That was the other one. They're around camp at the moment, feeding on all the berries. They're so beautiful, iridescent purple. Maybe we should try and find some of those. And then the other birds that she's put on the list that she's demanding to see in real life are the Narina trogon, which is a notoriously difficult one to see, and then also the Ross's turako. But I've told her to listen out for the or whatever noise that Ross's turako make around camp, and then she must go run outside and she will find them. And we've got to turn down this grassy track. But birding is difficult. I do like it though. Megan, that you want to make sure you see them in real life. See, we're lucky, of course, we're here and we can. Now, Megan's just asked me, what is my bird list like? Well, I want to see the straw-tailed wider, will be nice. What else has Brent told me about? I'd like to see the red-chested fluff-tail, the one that Brent said he saw down in the Salt Licks. It'd be nice to add to the fluff-tail list. The short-toed snake eagle, which the ornithologist, aka Brent and Camp, has also told me about. He says I need to start keeping an eye out for it. Apparently it has been seen at this time of the year in the Mara, so that's another one. What else? I don't really know. I feel like I see so many birds that I have no idea what they are. Unfortunately, most of the time they're so quick, especially when we go on our safari parcours. They flutter above you, and I don't take my binoculars with me, unfortunately, which I should take them though. So we have a bird request this afternoon. We shall see if we can find one for Brent. And you were wanting to see an ostrich. We'll try and find you an ostrich. Haven't seen too many ostrich up here in the this marshy area. We might have to head a little bit further down. Perhaps when we go towards the hyena den, we'll see some more ostrich around there. So we'll keep an eye out for them. I would like to see ostrich chicks though. Also more guinea fowl chicks, because they're quite precious and quite sweet. So I've only seen that one batch. They're gone. I don't know where they disappeared to, unfortunately. But again, as long as the grass stands this tall, it's going to make it very difficult. Oh my god. Val, you're saying that your bird list is only on 82. You better tell Brent that, because he's the birding king. And we'll see what else we can find you. You've got those ones. Those are rufous-naped larks. They just quickly fluttered out of the grass and went back down again. Those ones I think I put on screen at least once and came dry. My go-to bird. The first bird I ever identified correctly when I was studying to be a guide. Let me check in the trees then for you, Val. I know, it's amazing. It really is crazy how you literally can just not see anything. We're going to jump on the main road now. And then I know Brent went past our favorite little marshy spot here on the river road to look for some birds, and he said there was nothing there. How unusual. Maybe it was the weather this morning. So we'll try again. That's always a hot spot. Maybe some sandpipers. What's that? Oh, it's an elephant. I thought we were going to get lucky and see a black rhino. There was just something moving into the forest to the left of us, but it's gone now. So we'll carry on. I didn't even look. Car could have hit me. Goodness gracious. I need to pay attention a little bit more. I'm not concentrating today. Okay, now we start searching. Maybe the widow birds. Some red-collared willow birds. Fan-tailed. There's the yellow-mantled. Brent keeps telling me to keep an eye out for one of the bishops. I think it's a yellow bishop? I don't know. I don't know which one it was, but he told me. He said, Taylor, look out for one. Yellow-throated longclaw. Ducking behind the car. Where are all the birds? Normally there's always egrets and ibises and herons. Bizarre. Kingfisher. Malachite kingfisher, everybody. There it is. It's our friend from the other day. And it's got a snack. How cool is that? Now, we've been seeing a lot of the malachite kingfishers. They've come out of hiding. What on earth are you eating? Was it like a water scorpion or something? I couldn't quite see what it was, unfortunately. Val, is this a new bird for you? Or have you already got this beautiful kingfisher on your list? Now, I'd be confident in saying it's the same kingfisher that lives around here. I'm sure that he has got his spot. And it's a nice little spot. He sits on those bendy reeds. And then can fish in the drying up pools. And it's going to be a lot easier now for the birds that do fish with everything drying up, because they're going to be all congregating in these smaller pools of water. So lots and lots of frogs, lots of little fish and crabs and whatever the other thing that this little malachite kingfisher gobbled up, it'll be eating that too. But they're such stunning birds, and it really is great that we're getting so many amazing sightings of them. Francis, all the way from Israel, you said, look at those colours. Yes, look at those colours. Aren't they beautiful? Especially with the sun shining on its back. The pygmy, the malachite, they are stunning. The woodland doesn't quite have these sort of shiny feathers. Well, they're a little more turquoisey, aren't they? But I like these guys. Torpo, you said a fantastic addition to your list, your bird list. Fantastic, that's good to know. I'm just glad that we're seeing them all the time. Now, I don't know where they've already popped up from. I mean, these guys are residents. They don't necessarily migrate. You might find a few moving, or intra-African migrants moving around, but they typically stay in one spot. So why weren't we seeing them a few weeks ago? Maybe just the marshes weren't full. Maybe the frogs hadn't quite hatched just yet. I have no idea what it is. Maybe they've been fishing in different areas, and now they're utilizing this area. Dallas, you said you have these birds in Florida, and they're your favorite. Well, that's good to know, that you get to see birds close to home as well as down here in the Mara Triangle, which is quite special as well. But I think after that big meal, might be reluctant to dive on down straight away. You've got to wait 30 minutes before you dive and catch your next meal. I'm just joking, that's not true. There's no such rule. But yeah, that was quite large. I wonder how many times or how many grams. This is something I don't know, and I shall have to do research on it. How many grams a malachite kingfisher needs to eat of food a day, whether it's insects or amphibians, all sorts of other invertebrates. It'd be quite interesting to know, because they're not very big birds, but I'm sure they can put the food away. That's for sure. I'm struggling to stay on there. The wind is giving it a run for its money. It's amazing how it's able to counteract, though. Look how it's using its head and the rest of its body to balance. You see that? And also its tail. Tails are very important for balance. And I'm sure it takes a lot of practice to stand on a reef like that while it's blowing around. And then now imagine having to focus on food that's swimming below the surface. That's pretty spectacular in terms of skills of multitasking. But that's not all that we have here. There's actually a big olive baboon that's just about to walking towards the marsh. I noticed he was sinking slightly. But there is a troop out here today feeding on the banks of the Mara River. There you go. You can see them all sitting just down at the back. So they're over there. That's where most of the troop is. And then a little bit to the left, there's another big boy just sitting. And you sometimes see this with the olive baboons and with the chukma baboons as well. The big males will spread out. They'll put themselves in great positions where they can see what's going on around them. you know, making sure that there's no intruders, no other troops of baboons around. And baboons have serious altercations with rival gangs, and you'll often hear them shouting at one another, which is quite nice. But he's quite happy. He doesn't look like he's going to chase anybody away at the moment. He's just relaxing and just eating. You know what I want to do, Jean-Andre? I'm going to try something. I don't know if we will get it right, if it will fly, but that malachite kingfisher has just sat down even closer. I want to have another look, because I know that you all like taking screenshots of these beautiful birds, and they are so stunning as well. Look how close we are now. Now, a kingfisher species that I miss seeing is a half-collared kingfisher. And I'm not sure if we get them here. Let me have a look. Actually, while you stare at that beautiful bird, I shall search for kingfisher. All the different kingfishers. Let's see which ones I haven't seen yet. Oh no, it's a big book. I forget I have to do much paging. There we go, 272. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those light blue feathers coming through on the top of its head as well. It's like it's had highlights. 272. Whoop. And then they normally fly back. Where are you flying? To another perch. Trying a different spot. It's just landed off to the right. That's a better pool for fishing. A bit more difficult though. Challenging in terms of... And it's just flown away. Right. I'm going to very quickly... Oh, there's so many kingfisher species here. What did I say we were looking for? Half-collared. Come on, Taylor. Half-collared, half-collared. You know what? We can look at this in a minute. The reason why is because Brent also wants to do some birding, so I'm sure he's got a bird to show you.
Look at that. Well, not only birding, is there some hidden giants in the forest. So a lot of elephants coming in here at the moment, looking for those Diospyros fruit, the ebony fruit. But we can hear the sort of liquid chortle of a black-headed oriole, of one of the Cameropteras. Hoping we might get a Tarako on the edge as well. And you can see how big those trees are, because there's the elephant, and as we come out, it is absolutely incredible. There's so little. Oh, I just swallowed a fly. There's so little of this riverine forest left in the Mara. The largest areas are here, and that's why there are no roads and whatnot in there. They're protected. There used to be more forests throughout the area, but elephants, man, fire have all played quite a big role in opening up the Mara. And you just see how they can disappear. That's why when walking in forested areas you have to be very careful, because often you will only see the elephants when you're a couple of meters away from them. You can see there's a little baby there as well. Just hiding behind Mom's legs. There's another elephant coming in from the front here. Sort of over there. She'll pop out now. You can see the white of her tusks. Gives you an idea. It's not a particularly big elephant, probably about 12 or 13 years old. Definitely part of the same herd as the other two. Amazing how they just vanish. Chop! Gone. You just see those tusks through the foliage, catching up with the others. Robin is wondering, if an elephant's tusks are crossed, will it affect its feeding? Yes and no. It depends where the elephant is. So in an area like this, it would have a very minimal effect on the feeding because of the lush grasses of the Mara. Most of the elephants will eat grass, and they're like little tasty treats, like the fruit from the Diospyros, and occasionally they will eat branches and leaves, but I'd say probably 85% of an elephant's diet in the Mara is made up of grass. However, if you were in the Sabi Sands and Greater Kruger, you would probably find if the elephant's tusks were crossed, it would affect their feeding, and in the process of feeding, they would probably break one of the tusks to make it easier to use the other. Not intentionally, but just in the process of searching for food. That's why you find a lot less elephants with broken tusks here. They don't utilize them as much for feeding as elephants in other parts of Africa, even other parts of Kenya. If you move towards Savo or up north towards Samburu, the elephants there will have a higher percentage of broken tusks just because of their diet, whereas the elephants in the Mara are quite spoilt and they mostly eat grass. Now let's leave our little Ellie family to continue adventuring in the forest, and we're going to keep adventuring on the edge of the forest. Now, Mr. Q says the elephants in the Mara look a lot smaller than in the Sabi Sands. I would agree with you, Mr. Q. Taylor disagrees with me, but Taylor thinks the elephant cows here are quite big. I think they're pretty average sized. Now, the biggest, or tallest and heaviest elephants on average recorded are from southern Africa, particularly from Kruger down through to Tembe Elephant Park is actually, for height and weight, got the largest average male elephants in Africa. However, you do get exceptions everywhere. The largest in terms of size, height, weight elephant ever recorded is actually from southern Angola. And I mean, a very big elephant bull will weigh 6.5, 7 tons, and that is an absolute monster. But that elephant bull shot in the 60s and, or might have even been 50s or 40s in Angola, weighed 11 tons. So an absolute giant. We're just going to keep slowly edging away along the edge of the forest. Sorry, Megs, can you go again with that? Well, a very interesting question here by Mike. Mike says, do I think habitat change caused by elephants is a good thing? It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it is just a thing. So what happens in an area that's left... Sorry, Mike, just something running there. Just a topi. It's neither a good thing or a bad thing, it is just a natural thing. So a lot of people like to call sign of elephant feeding elephant damage. I say it's not elephant damage, it's just elephants feeding. And that elephant feeding is actually a very important part of an ecosystem, adds nutrients for termites. If they break down branches, termites can eat them. It all depends whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I would say it's just how it should be. So yes, then, and I suppose in that fact it is a good thing. I know I've harped on about this in the past, but human beings tend to be gardeners in Eden. This is absolutely perfect. We don't need to fiddle with it too much, yet we feel the need to. So particularly in smaller reserves that haven't had elephant for a very long time, you'll notice the armchair experts who've bought houses in these reserves all suddenly have an absolute thrombosis when an elephant pushes over a tree. Oh, it's destroying everything. Well, no, actually it's not. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So elephants can manage the habitat they create. They make it more open, therefore then there's more grass, which means you have higher numbers of herbivores. So impala, zebra, wildebeest, buffalo all prefer grass to leaves, and they prefer more open areas than thick areas. Now what's happened in South Africa in particular, and to a degree in other parts of Africa, where elephant populations are stable at the moment and actually growing, is now in South Africa you've got a lot of reserves that haven't had elephant for 100 years, 120 years, in some cases 150 years. Now elephants have been reintroduced, and everyone's all of a sudden shocked when an elephant pushes down a tree, which absolutely goes straight over my head. I'm like, well guys, what do you expect? You've brought in elephants, what do you think they're going to do? They're not going to push over that tree because you like that tree. But so people are quite funny like that. Now they all think, oh no, now we need to control elephant numbers and stuff like that. Well, actually we don't know to a great effect, apart from areas like northern Botswana, what the bush should look like. How many elephants used to be in the Sabi Sands? Remember, the Sabi Sands was fenced from the Kruger for many years. I believe that the Sabi Sands, historically, before the fencing and before it was cattle farms and that, was a lot more open than it is now. And then, well, I'm not going to say where and what in the Sabi Sands, but there's some interesting theories that get bounced about. So what's happened, especially in the south of the Sabi Sands, my dad's actually got a very good phrase for it. He coins it as Serengeti syndrome. So the Sabi Sands was never going to be open like the Mara, but it would have been a lot more open. So you would have had big marulas with generally you would have had then combretum thickets around it, or dicrostachys thickets, and things like that. So now what's happened is that it was probably in the early 80s, mid 80s, when the Serengeti syndrome hit the Sabi Sands with great aplomb, and everyone started making these massive open areas. Yes, the Sabi Sands should have been more open, the seep lines would have been more open, but the top of the crests would have been quite thick, and that's where your big marulas and your big knobthorns were. And what's happened is that people have cleared every single little bush away from around these big trees, and now saying all the elephants are destroying all the big trees, the big marulas and the big knobthorns in the Sabi Sands. Well, it's yes, obviously, because you removed all the other food away from them. They don't have much other choice during the dry season but to debark those big marulas and big knobthorns. So it's quite interesting. And always people like to see it their way rather than the way it actually is. And there's all sorts of funny things that people do to try to stop elephants from eating marula trees, and putting shiny things on them and spraying it with smelly stuff. But in the end, nothing really works. If the elephant's really hungry and he wants to eat that marula tree, he's going to eat that marula tree. Particularly the big bulls. I'm just going very slowly. I'm still hoping for a tarako on the edge of the forest. Or maybe a robin chat. That would be a treat. Even a tropical boo-boo would suffice, I would say. So what I'm going to do, there's a little secret, well, not a secret road, but a road that's not used very often, that goes into amongst the forest down towards the Mara River. So we'll have a little gander down there. See if there's anything there. Oof, the weather is funny today. Hot, cold, hot, cold. And then after we've had a gander down towards the river, we'll go have a look at the edge of the Samaki swamp, see what birds we can find. It look like there's some ellies in the mud down there as well. And there's often lions on the edge of the forest over there as well. So lots to look forward to as we head towards the Samaki swamp. Now, for those of you wondering what Samaki means, it means fish. It's the fish swamp. Now, there's great numbers of catfish in that swamp, particularly during the wet season. And now, when we're at the drier time of the year, and that swamp shrinks, you get big concentrations of yellow-billed storks and woolly-necked storks and other pescivores, fish eaters, that come corral those catfish into sort of the muddy, drying up spots and munch away at them. Marabou storks as well, saddleballs. I think I have lost comms. I have. Sorry about that. How did that happen? The whole thing came apart. Let's try now. Meg's try to talk to me. There we go. There we go. Okay, so it sounds like I've been yapping on, and we're supposed to be going across to Taylor, whose golden locks are blowing in the wind.
Stop trying to steal my thunder, Brent. No, I'm just joking. I didn't know what to say. That also caught me off guard, so I panicked. Right, so we're just driving along here at the moment. I didn't get to see the Mogoro Pride. They've moved off the road, and I think they've gone into the shade. So, not serves them right, sounds about right. Then I didn't see any straw-tailed gliders. Next time we shall be lucky. Now we're just meandering through all these animals. Crown cranes, where's your babies? We just want to see crown crane chicks from now on. We'll have a quick look at them. And then we're heading towards the hyena area. So there we have some crowned cranes with no chicks at their feet, very sadly. Although I don't know where their eggs would be. Normally one is always incubating their eggs, whether it's the male or the female, they take turns. So I don't know if their nest perhaps got raided and now they don't have any eggs at all. Not sure what the case is. I didn't really see this pair in this area sitting on anything. We did very quickly pass though the spot where I first saw the crown crane that was sitting on a nest on the 16th of December 2017, and it is still sitting on its eggs. So that's quite good. That's good to know. So they should be hatching soon, within the next couple of days or so. They'll probably hatch and be running around while I'm on holiday. It's normally the case, but they found themselves a nice little spot to catch all sorts of goodies. We know what they eat. We've said it 1,000 times, from grasshoppers to fish to frogs, whatever really is around, and is an opportunity for them to gobble it up. Even little snakes, I'm sure. But they've got their heads low today. Sometimes you see them feeding in the taller grass, then they don't have to bend down so much. They're kind of pecking for those grasshoppers. Maybe they are looking for little frogs here that are just moving through that wetland area. This haze, I was going to say today, I thought this haze was disappearing, but it isn't. The wind is starting to pick up, so maybe that helps. Maybe the weather is building. You can see that those feathers are being ruffled. They've just got the most perfect crowns, though. What hair products do they use? Aren't you jealous, Jandre?
No.
No.
It's perfect.
You don't. Jandre is just perfect. I, however, struggle to maintain the teased look. Megan says not Brent's hair products. I don't think Brent uses hair products on his hair. You know, I have to tell you a funny story. The one day Brent came to me and he said, oh, something about shampoo, blah, 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 blah. And that he uses the best brand. And then I laughed and I saw what brand of shampoo he's using. And I was saying, full of chemicals. It would never touch my hair. Wasn't even salon quality. We'll tease Brent, although I don't think he'd be too sad that I'm teasing him about his hair products. Maybe one day I'll let him use my shampoo and conditioner. His hair will be so soft. Maybe that's what we'll do. After he's cut his hair, we'll wash it for him, we'll blow dry it. Oh, it'll be great. Not that I know how to blow dry hair. I let the wind blow dry my hair. I do the classic vehicle with no windscreen and then driving at 30 kilometers an hour for 10 to 15 minutes, and then that normally does the trick for me, and it gives me that salon quality look, as James always talks about. What are you eating now? Now it looks like you're eating grass seeds, and I suppose they do have quite a varied diet, so they'll just take what is available. So that's what's happening at the moment. I can't believe I got so off topic and spoke about hair products for such a long time. Actually, I'm not surprised. Yeah, it does look like they may be eating some seeds on the grass. Otherwise it's catching lots of grasshoppers, but I don't see any grasshoppers. Very cool. They're such beautiful birds. And I know I was just about to say my little friend Tesla likes to see the crowned cranes, and likes to see the crowned crane chicks though. Right, let me get comfortable. There's not a lot of space in these cars, so you've got to move around quite a bit. What was I doing? Kingfishers, 272. 274. I wanted to show you one of my favorite kingfisher species. Oh, not this one. Number 2. Look at that one. That is called chocolate-backed kingfisher, and I said to Jeandre that sounds delicious. I don't know. When I hear chocolate-backed kingfisher, I don't think it's a bird. I think it's a delicious treat. So I have not seen one of those. You won't see them in Kenya, though. That seems to be more on the west coast. And then I'm going to turn the page just very quickly. I'm going to turn the page just once more. And then half-coloured number 6 down at the bottom. Look how beautiful it is. It would be a very rare sighting. It kind of occurs on the border of Tanzania and Kenya. And maybe quite far down towards the east, though. Not much here on the western side, so I don't think we're going to be seeing these fellows. But we'll keep an eye out, though, because there are lots of luggers down on the border, so you never quite know. But very nice. I'm trying to think, how many kingfisher species do we get in Africa? 1, 2, it's got the numbers, I don't have to even count. 6, so that's 11, 12, 13, 14 species of kingfishers, and I've seen, let me count quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've seen 8 of the 14 kingfisher species, so there's still quite a few that I have to get on my list. I'll have to go to the west then. We'll have to move away. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go and try and find this this hyena den. And then, speaking of young Tesla, hello Tesla, my friend, my blonde-haired friend. You were wondering, what were you wondering? What is my favorite bird? Tesla, it's actually not the crown crane chicks, unfortunately, as cute as what they are. It is a secretary bird, the snake hunters. So yeah, not that we've seen them eating snakes, but they do. They're specialists at killing snakes. So those are my favorite birds. But I like them all, though. You know, those kingfishers are so beautiful. You kind of forget when you haven't seen a specific bird species for a long time, and you forget how beautiful they are. So sometimes paging through that big book of mine, you know, it's a real eye-opener and a reminder, I suppose. Right, we'll keep heading on towards where the hyenas are supposed to be, and hopefully they're home and they haven't moved. Brent, however, has got an animal with lots of teeth, and one that you don't really want to smile at you.
Yes, that's correct. Well, you should never smile at a crocodile. If a crocodile is smiling at you, I think it's too late for you. Oh, hang on. Where are my binoculars? So we've come into my little secret forest spot. Along the edge of the Mara River. There's a tiny little dead-end road that comes in here. There's a little crocodile. But you know when you get that feeling you're being watched, Adrian? I think we're being watched. Okay, so come up onto the top of that bank. There's to the right slightly, there's a fallen tree. And you see that big fallen log there? You can see the tree. Now zoom in just back. There we go. Oh, they disappeared. Little blighters. They were watching us. Wait, let me just move. No, a little bit. I think you can't see it from where you are. You're a bit too far back. Oh, wait, he's coming. Yes, there we go. We're being spied upon by some olive baboons on the other side of the Mara River. Now, this is a very good birding spot as well. And I can hear a robin chat calling. So I'm just going to move into this little thicket up here. I can hear a robin chat calling. Now, Taylor said she's seen, was it 8 of the 14 species? Or was it 15 species? Oh, she's got a bit of, some babblers. She's got some catching up to do. I've seen 13. The only one I haven't seen, unfortunately, lives in a very bad area of Somalia, where I'm not going to be going. And you see them up there popping around. No, this tree closest to us, sort of sparse, and a little bit higher, and a little bit to the right. Of course, now they keep quiet. Keep up. They're not down. They're up. Up higher. Have you got one? Let's go. Let me just reposition the car. And they've disappeared. There were some babblers there. You can hear a black-headed batis as well. Let's try and have a look. They've disappeared into the forest, but Let's have a look in here. This is where the little, well, the robin chat was calling from somewhere in this little patch of forest. And we can hear the batter still. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, I'm going to try get it to you. We have got Jamie and Taylor's mystery monkey. And we're actually going to get it. He's keeping very still. Oh, don't run away. You see him? You got him there. There we go. The mystery monkey that Jamie and Taylor have seen. It is a very big form of the Sykes monkey or blue monkey. It is the Kakamega version from the Kakamega forest. So much bigger than the normal Sykes. And I think this is a first for a lot of our viewers. So it is a blue monkey, but it is the Kakamega subspecies. And here we go, you can see him nibbling on the leaves there. That's so cool. Now, it is wonderful if you go quietly and slowly into some of these forested areas, you do get to see amazing things. You can hear a puffback shrike as well. That is so cool. So they are much, much bigger than the normal Sykes monkey that most people would have been used to seeing. And you can see, like a lot of the blue monkeys, they eat quite a lot of leaves. So they actually have to eat quite a lot. And you can see they've got a lot of them, like colobus monkeys in particular, have got very specific digestive tracts enabling them to eat green leaves and green fruit, so they don't come into competition with vervets and baboons. Oh, what a treat. Francis, in Israel, you are spot on. They do normally live in groups. This looks like a big male. I'm pretty sure there's others hiding out in these thickets. It's quite uncommon to see them sitting out in the open. And I saw some movement in the leaves to the left, so I'm sure there are some more, but they're just hiding from us. He thinks we can't see him. That's what he thinks. He's well hidden there. They've got a very, very cool call, and I think you might be in luck. Of course, on my iTunes, I've got very strange things, like monkey calls, of course, or on my music, birds and monkeys and stuff like that. Let me just see if I still have it on here. I'm trying to think of its Latin name, because all the... I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm trying to remember this thing. Is it Wolfii? Cercopithecus? Nicotans? It could be Nicotans. Oh, it's been a while since I brushed up on my primate scientific names. I know it's one of the Cercopithecus. I think it's Nicotans is the family. Yes, it is. So that's what he sounds like. That's a very cool call. Now, the blue monkeys form a sort of, and Sykes, Simangos, they're all part of a sort of super group of monkeys that occur all the way from the east coast of Africa. In South Africa, we've got Simango monkeys up through Mozambique, and then from Kenya they occur across through all the way to the Atlantic Ocean in different variations. So this is the excuse me, frog in the throat, the Kakamega Sykes or Kakamega blue monkeys. Matt is wondering, do the blue monkeys get along with baboons? Not at all. Baboons are a pain for them, especially if there's any sort of fruiting trees like figs or whatnot, the baboons will definitely chase the monkeys off to try get the most of the food. But that's why the blue monkeys and colobus monkeys have adapted to being able to eat leaves and unripe fruit, where baboons and vervets cannot do that. So I think we are only missing 2 monkey species for the Mara on camera now, and that would be the black and white colobus. They're not on this side of the river. I've only ever seen them on the other side of the river. I actually heard from a friend of mine, Stratton, he saw some very close to Oloshaiki colobus monkeys in the Talek River at Oloshaiki, just below Oloshaiki actually, and then red-tailed monkeys. And the only place I know of red-tailed monkeys occurring is in a forest patch near Chitwa Tembo. But hopefully we'll find some red tails in a different area. I'm quite sure in those forests along the escarpment that no one goes into, there should be red tail monkeys there. There are definitely these guys as well. Rosinda says it's so good to see some different kinds of species. I know, Rosinda, I'm very excited. What are you? I'm hoping he was going to move towards us, but it looks like he's actually moving into the thicket. It looks like a big male. Now they are very big monkeys. This particular variant of the blue monkey, so much bigger than the Sykes monkeys that you normally see. Take Care is wondering, do they use tools at all? They've never been recorded using tools, Take Care. So, no, they don't. Come on, turn around. Come, I want you to walk down that lovely big branch so we can get a nice view of you. So cool. What a treat. Can you hear the babblers deeper in the forest now? Sorry, I just saw a bird dash in here that looked like a very good bird. It's just... And maybe while we look for the bird, we might be able to get a better view of that feeding Kakamega blue. See if we can get this. Oh, disappeared. The kingfisher just dashed into there. So let's try to get us one last different view of the monkey. Don't think we're going to be able to know. The sun's in a bad spot. Oh dear. Okay. Well, what a treat though to see another new species. We don't get to see new species in the Mara too often, or of mammals at least. Nah, it's just some Egyptian geese. Okay, well, that's it. Yeah, I'm very happy. Hopefully we can find some other new species as we carry on. So while we carry on, let's go back to Madam McCurdy, who's sailing through a sea of grass.
We're GPSing our way towards the hyena den at the moment. Ah, it's a Harrier that's flying around. Let's see. There it goes. Now, I don't know. The Marsh Harrier and the African Harrier, they confuse me. So off to the H's we go. You're doing lots of birding. You guys are making me work today. Harrier. 84. Let's have a quick squiz there. It's flying around. It's been diving into the grass and trying to catch all sorts of things. I don't think it's been successful just yet because it's still going. Right. So, we get both here. Now I just need to figure out which one it is. Did it have quite a white head? It's hard to see. They've all got that. No, it's actually got quite a dark head. It's quite light underneath though. I think I'm going to go with the Marsh Harrier. Western Marsh Harrier. but I could be mistaken. It's very far away now, which makes it quite difficult for us to see those identifying features. It could also be an African Marsh Harrier, but we'll see when we get a bit closer. The Eurasian, or the Western, sorry, Marsh Harrier's got a bit more sort of like yellowish, lighter color on its head. I'm not on a road anymore either. Oh, I was using this for a reason. Turn right. I'm not going to listen to you because I'm not driving on a road. Oh my goodness, we've got ages to go still. Okay. But we'll kind of just head in that direction, then we'll try not to get stuck. So Brent and I have checked around here, and we can't seem to find the active part of the den, so I wonder where it's hiding. That looks like a kestrel. Is it? Is it the same bird? I think it was a great kestrel flying around as well. But that one with the white band on its tail was definitely one of the Harriers. Megan, I have a question for you. Sorry, I'm just concentrating, everybody, because the grass is very long and I could just drive into a sticky situation quite easily, especially now going through this grass and I don't know where the road is. So, Megan, what I wanted to ask you was, who was asking to see an ostrich? Because I've completely forgotten. Tom. Was it Tom? Brent was asking to see an ostrich. So I found something that belongs to an ostrich, but it's not an ostrich, I'm afraid, Brent. Oh no, the panic. See, we found it! Woo! Okay, found the road. That is an achievement, not the hyena den, sorry. Ta-da! No, it doesn't work on a windy day. Don't fan yourself with an ostrich feather on a windy day, but here we have an ostrich feather. Can you guess? Male or female? Who do you think this feather used to belong to? Hashtag Safari Live, let us know. It's beautiful though, but we shall touch a bit more on it a little bit later. I'll give you some time to guess. Right, Brent has got a creature that does not have any feathers on it, but is rather tall and also has a mane.
Well, and this one is chewing the cud. It's a young male Maasai giraffe. Nyum, 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 nyum. Actually, we got surrounded by them all of a sudden as we came out of that little forest patch back out into the plains. And there's probably about, all around us, probably about 15 or 16 of them. And there's a very pregnant female, a little bit there at the back there in the shade. You can see how wide she's looking. That one there, she's looking quite pregnant. But just behind us, we've got a treat, something we don't get to see too often. And normally the giraffe are always looking down on us. So I'm just going to move quickly so we can get a giraffe at eye level. Well, almost. Oh dear. Sorry, there's another giraffe, a big male giraffe right behind me. I mean, he's so close. Oh, isn't that incredible? He's actually got spider webs. We're not going to be able to see them caught all over him, obviously, from walking through the trees. But he was almost right behind us. And we've got another beautiful female here. I mean, look at those colorations on her. She is exquisite. You're a pretty lady. You see, they surrounded us. That's the little road I just came up from. Quite a lot of young males, 2 females, 3 females, and lots of young males, but only one big dominant male. Ravinda is wondering, do giraffes ever sneeze, and how loud do they sneeze? Indeed, they do sneeze, Ravinda. Not too loud, probably about as loud as a person. Where did that go now? I spotted something else. Where did it go? It flew behind a tree. Ah, there we go. Ah, vulture. Matt is wondering, do giraffe ever wear out their teeth like elephants do? A very old giraffe can wear down its teeth very, very, very low and start struggling. There we go, giraffe through giraffe legs. But unlike elephants, they only have a single set of teeth, so they don't get multiple sets of teeth like ellies. There's the one at eye level. Let's pop it, just come to the left a little bit, just popping its head down now. Down in an old section of the Mar River. Oh, shy giraffe. No, it's just going to pop round. They are absolutely exquisite animals. One of the most silent animals in the African bush. Philip is wondering, do giraffes form harems? Well, sort of. Not quite like a zebra, but there will be female groups that are followed around by males. So Adrian, since you did the giraffe through giraffe legs, I've got another one for you if I just sleep forward a little bit. You see through that little gap in the trees? You see the giraffe legs right through there. Here we go. That's all we can see of that giraffe behind some of the thickets on the edge of the forest. Oh! Oh, I think the baboons have spotted something. So those baboons that were watching us a little bit earlier, they've suddenly started alarm calling. So I'm going to race there. While we do that, let's go see Thandi all the way back in South Africa.
Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to you, wherever you hail from in the world. My name is Steve Falconbridge, and I'm joined on camera by the wildebeest. And we have got Thandi, who is giving us a little bit of a mouthful of teeth. She's just stood up, and it's possibly the raised voice that she heard. And she stood up and gave a little bit of a snarl there. Oh. She's calling a cub. This could potentially be my first visual of this cub in real life. Tristan has seen it a number of times, and so it is now my opportunity. Oh, that looks like an impala head. Wonderful. A little bit of takeaway. Can you hear her calling, folks? It's a typical contact call between mother and baby. It's a wonderful sound. If you hear that when you're on foot, it is quite a terrifying sound. And you definitely backheel very quickly if you hear that while on foot. And similarly, when you hear the cub's contact call back, very, 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 very nerve-wracking sound when you hear it on foot. Your body knows exactly what it means, even when you don't really understand. Stubby comments that it looks like she's in a bit of a mood. I believe Thandi always has a little bit of a mood with the vehicle, but for her to show us a little bit of a mood there and then suddenly start calling a cub goes to show that she's completely relaxed. I believe that's just her nature. It's just the way she behaves. I've been warned by the guides about it. This is wonderful. Wonderful way to start off the afternoon. There's a nice warm day here in the Sabi Sands. The cloud cover is slowly petering away, and we have some sunshine coming through. Please feel free to send your questions through to @Safari Live on the Twitter feed, or follow us on YouTube. Send through your comments and questions. We're likely going to sit here with Thandi because we would like to see that little cub in real life. Did you see where she went, Vildi?
Yeah.
She's in the thickets, folks. Can't quite see where she's gone to. I might just push up a little bit forward. I can still hear her calling. So while we see if we can move forward and maybe find her again, we're going to send you through to Noel, who's going to say good afternoon.
Good Elementary. I hope you're enjoying the school drive with us today. I am on the lookout for cats, any sort of cats, but also elephants. So Davi is on camera with me today. Hello, Davi. And I forgot to introduce myself. I am Noel. Please excuse me about that. And I'm coming to you live from the South African bush, not far from when Steve was with that leopard. We are going to be checking just up here on the eastern side of Chitwa to see if we can pick up any leopard tracks, and then we're going to be meandering towards the dam to see if we can pick up anything to do with elephants. All right. Other than that, that's the only plan we've come up with. Maybe we'll find some flowers. Maybe we'll do some trees. There's a bit of blue sky. Sun was shining. All right, now as we're busy lurking about and looking and searching, Steve, I believe, has managed to find Thandi again. So let's head on over to him and to see what he has to show you.
Yes, we are back with Thandi. I've got visual of a small little movement in the bushes to the right of her. We haven't quite yet got it on camera, but the cub is probably 2-3 meters, about 4 yards or so to the right of her. Here we can hear it calling. Listen, folks. This is going to be wonderful stuff if she comes out. I'm super excited. It's been a very, very long time since I've seen a wild baby leopard in the flesh. And Thandi is showing us a little bit of a moody face. She actually had her ears flat and her teeth were bared as she came towards us, about 3 or 4 meters. Can I move forward for you there, Vildi? Maybe that'll be better, eh? Or are you happy there?
That's fine.
Okay, we're happy there. I did just see a little bit of movement towards her right. Nothing's materialized as of yet. This is the patience game we have all afternoon. There we go. At the back there. Folks, we are not in school drive. The school's only joining at 17:45. And the cub is coming. Just keep paying attention to the right of her. The cub is coming out of the long grass there. Give it a moment or two more. Just see it edging forward. Very inquisitive. It's coming forward, folks. Coming to attack Mom, perhaps. Mum is going to her. Almost there. There it is. Oh my word. That is just too cute. I don't know if you can hear that little cub meow. There it is. Oh, this is fantastic stuff. This is what it's all about. There she is. You can't help but chuckle inside at the sight of a leopard cub as it awkwardly balances on that pole. Oh, I am so excited too, folks. I am so excited. It seems like they're moving off a little bit to the other side. So I think we might try and go back where we came from, come around the other side. It's very thick in front of us, and there is a fallen tree. So I think it's impossible to go forward. But I think we'll go back and out this way and see if we can get a little better look at this beautiful leopard and her cub. Watch yourself there, Vildi. Tambuti branches everywhere. So while we try and reposition here to find this beautiful cat and get a better visual, I believe Brent is busy bumbling around the Mara.
Unfortunately, whatever those baboons were shouting at was too deep in the forest on the other side of the river. So I would hesitate to guess that there's probably a leopard there. So now we're moving away from the forest, still keeping the forest next to us, but moving out of the forest right to the edge of the Samaki swamp. And I'm hoping for some good birds. Lots of elephants already in the swamp at this time of the day. It's always a great time of the day to come down to this area. And of course, the resident... Oh! buffalo bulls. Here you go. He's got a hitchhiker. Isn't that cool? Oh, he's properly caked in mud as well. Getting away from all the biting insects, and now there's a cattle egret hitching a ride, hoping for a grasshopper to fly up, and he'll be able to catch it as it goes past. Kirsten is wondering, how much of the Mara have I travelled? I'd say out of the National Reserve, both Triangle and the other side, there's only really the area up in the mountains around the Sand River Gorge. I've been to the Sand River Gorge, but the area above the Sand River Gorge, so not too far. There's still some hills and mountains I want to go explore in that area, so I think I might head up in that direction on my next adventure across the river. But I'd say probably about 90%, 95% even, of the National Reserve. So that includes the Triangle and the National Reserve on the other side. I've been to most places there are to go. Oh! Where are they? You should be able to hear some very noisy black and white casqued hornbills. Very noisy. Very noisy hornbills. Can't see them though, they're deep in the forest there somewhere. Oh! Well, Taylor has found what she's looking for, so let's go have a look at some spotted critters that are very cute.
They are very cute, but the whole clan is not here. And a couple of them are in the burrows, but there are a few females sitting out with their youngsters. That's an older one. Oh, look who's popping its head out. Oh, it's so cute when they do that. But we're with a hyena clan that Ralph has spent quite a bit of time with. They're amazing creatures. I used to see this clan quite often, in fact. But they've moved their den just slightly, not too far off the road, but it's quite difficult to find in all the long grass. But I think most of them seem to be using this little burrow. That's where quite a few of the youngsters are. Some of the sub-adults that are only maybe 3 or 4 months old, just down in there. I think it's quite difficult with aging hyenas. Some of you are very good at it. And you have a little chart. You can see there's 2 little heads that pop up every now and then, just like the bat-eared foxes. That's kind of all you get. Oh, you found a chew toy. Oh, I thought you were chewing on a piece of grass. Never mind, you were just chewing on the other hyena's ear, which is also normal. Now, these networks are so intricate. I'd love to go inside a den one day. I think it would be a tight squeeze, but it could be really, really cool. And to have a look around and see what's actually going on in there. And it would be an amazing system for another animal to use as well. So when these guys move away, you might find a family of warthogs come in here, or perhaps porcupine, big enough for porcupine, that's for sure. Or mongoose, anything like that would come living in this area. It's lovely though. It is quite beautiful, as you can see, but they're fast asleep at the moment, not really doing too much at the moment. But I think that we'll sit around and be patient, and hopefully they will wake up. However, Steve is having a great afternoon. He's found himself Thandi with the little cub. I can't wait to see her. I'll maybe be able to see her when I'm back in the Sabi sand in March.
I've managed to come around and find her again. She moved off with the cub just under some shade of the tambuti trees. We don't want to go too close. We don't want to scare the cub. The cub moved a little bit away as we came, so we just stopped. We switched off. We're being very sensitive. We've got a lot of time we can spend here, so there's no rush. Habituation of animals is not about influencing their behavior. It's about them getting used to you and not responding, not getting any negative response. If a cub runs away and you pursue that, it's going to learn that running away is a reaction that it needs to do. But if it moves away and you switch off and everything stops, it learns to understand that there's no negative feedback. There's no need to respond, and slowly but surely that moving away will change. Obviously the adult is quite relaxed. Thandi, beautiful, beautiful mother, even though she's a bit grumpy from time to time. Just wait here and see if the cub comes back and plays with her, and over a period of time we might move a bit closer, but This is wonderful. This is how leopards are seen. Can you imagine trying to see that with your naked eye? I mean, Voldy, if you pan out and just keep that frame, folks, see if you can see her. Look at that, eh? Would you see that on foot? We're probably about 35, 40 yards from her, and she is invisible. Just a stream bed. Walking down here, would you see that animal? Look at her. Fantastic. Tesla and Ben, 7 years, ages 7 and 8, welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon or morning wherever you are. You ask how old the leopard cub is. Leopard cub is about 3 months. 3 months old. It's still quite fresh, quite new, but it is at that stage where it's wonderful to view because it's active and it's very playful. So how heavy it would be hard to say. Voldy, what do you reckon? How much do you think that thing weighs now?
3 kilograms.
Yeah, Voldy thinks about 3 kilograms or so. I would say probably about that, which is double that to get your pounds, 6, 7 pounds in weight. Very small. Whereas she is probably in the 65 kilogram range. 60, 65 kilogram range, 130 pounds. So the baby's got a long way to go still. But that's why it is with mum, and that's why a situation like this could be potentially dangerous if you're walking. But we're going to stay here with this wonderful cat and see if we can get a better look at the cub playing. And while we do so, I believe Mr. Brent is up in the Mara with a very big elephant.
Here we go. So we've moved away from the forest. It's behind us. And we're on the edge of the Samaki swamp. And I always love coming here in the afternoon because of the ellies coming down to feed. Excuse me. And not only are the elephants, of course, all the different birds. Look at that. We've got great white egrets, the tallest white bird there. And there we go, woolly neck storks. All keeping around the elephants, waiting for them to chase something. There's also a black-headed heron just to the left as well, I think. There we go, you can just see the black-headed heron right in the back left corner. Woolly neck storks. Oh, there's a sacred ibis just fluttered through. There's another one about to fly through shot shortly. Where's he going to fly? There he is. Sacred ibis. And there we go with the black-headed heron. All taking advantage of whatever the elephants might be disturbing. It's a very peaceful spot here on the edge of the Samaki swamp. Well, hello Tesla, who's 7 years old. Tesla would like to know, why are there no wild elephants in America? Well, Tesla, because the Americas are not good for elephants. The most likely reason is it probably gets too cold. You don't really find elephants where there is snow, but they evolved away from America, so there's a big ocean between them, and the land bridges would have been covered in snow and stuff, and the elephants don't like to be too cold, and that's why the elephants are in Africa and India and Asia. So quite warm places normally. They do get cool, but we don't really get too much snow in the areas where elephants live. They don't like snow. Isn't that beautiful and peaceful? There must be close on 60 or 70 elephants. Now, Mr. Q says, with anti-poaching, is there not a possibility of an elephant overpopulation? Yes, there is. There's always that. traditionally the elephants would have been able to move out of areas if the populations got too big, but now with human beings putting pressure on all the edges, there is a real chance of elephant overpopulation, especially in areas like South Africa. And let's go across to these elephants over here. There's a yellow-billed stork with them. And there's more elephants off to the right. And we've got there, those birds there behind them. A little bit to the left. There we go. There's a yellow-billed stork there. A little bit to the right, the one off to the right, standing by itself with the black on the wing. There we go. That's the one. And there's more woolly neck storks behind. And great white egrets and sacred ibis. Oh, and it looked like... Oof! I love it when they do that. They just come flying into shot. Looks like there's also... It's amazing how many bird species there are. Now, I think Taylor was talking about flufftails yesterday. This is an ideal habitat for flufftails, although they're quite difficult to spot. And the best chance at seeing them is actually if they get flushed by an elephant or a buffalo marching through the swampy area. Oh, very exciting. It seems like the latest bundle of joy on Djuma is out and about.
Very exciting, very exciting. There we go. The cub is out with her. How's that, wildebeest? But she's very aware of our presence, folks. There's the cub. There it is. She's giving it a head bath. Such a good mother, keeping the baby nice and clean. It's wonderful to see leopards behaving in their natural behavior. Mother bathing the baby, very rough tongue, baby licking back, getting her belly cleaned, doesn't seem to be too happy with that. Now, for those of you who've seen this before, you must understand this is very magical to see, and the fact that we're also a little bit far away and there's thick bush in between. It's just the way it is, folks. This is how we're going to watch her. You can see they're obviously not at all bothered by our presence right now. We're giving them their space. And the cub is a feisty one who doesn't want to bath, Mum. There was still some carcass left before. When we first found her, she actually picked up the head of an impala. Looked like a 1-year-old male impala. It seemed to have some horns. And then she called the cub at the same time, and since then we haven't seen that head anymore. But important for the grooming, important to keep themselves clean. Keeps them free of parasites. Cleans off any excess blood or any dirt. Those of you with cats at home know that they are very, very clean animals. You can tell by the movement of the leaves, it's just a gentle wind there. And every now and again she puts her head up as she hears something or maybe smells something. I don't know, it's beyond my knowledge to know if a leopard would actually hunt in the presence of her cub like this without stashing her first. I'm sure it's happened before, but I've never seen it. Chat Lar comments, he's in heaven, so am I, sir. Or ma'am, I'm not sure exactly. There we go. There's the beautiful little thing. It does look like a female, just a very brief glimpse there under the tail. I don't know if she's enjoying or loving or hating that bath. Takes you back to excerpts from The Lion King when adventure, There we go. See now, folks, to have a leopard cub jumping around and moving around freely like this indicates that the animal is relaxed. It's very important to understand that. If that leopard was not relaxed, you would not see that cub at all. You wouldn't even see the leopard. So the work that goes into this is very delicate. We could quite easily just drive our vehicle right in there, but that would just influence their behavior. So it's important to be very sensitive. It's also my first experience with Thandi. And one thing I've learned in the past is always, even if you know an animal, it's still important to pay attention to what they're doing and how they behave. Shannon's asking at what age would the cub eat meat. It would probably have a little bit of a snack now, but it would be more reliant on the milk from mum. But from 6 months on, definitely they start eating a lot more meat, and mum actually brings them to the site of kills. I would say that the size of this impala that it killed was quite small, and she maybe brought it to where she was stashing the cub, which to me is quite strange behavior for a leopard, because having the kill close by attracts hyena. That's the last thing you want, sniffing around where you're hiding your cub. The least amount of influence on a den site, the better. Hence the reason why leopards move their cubs quite regularly. The smell of leopard starts to increase, and the problem is if you have the smell of rotting meat there, it'll always attract a nosy hyena. And a leopard would always move away from a hyena. Even big male leopards, well, most of them anyway, they can't afford to be bitten. So definitely from about 6 months the cub will start eating meat, and from about a year or so it'll start venturing quite far away from the little den sites. So folks, don't worry, we are not going anywhere. We're going to stay here with Thandi and her little cub, and while we do so, we're going to send you over to Noel, who's in the south around Chitwa, I believe, for an update.
I'm so excited you're getting such good visuals of that little cub. He says she is super cute, although because I believe Tristan is sticking with his thoughts that it's a female, and I believe I just heard that you're also possibly thinking the same thing. I might have to have another look. I might change my mind, but I do like the bet, the possible bet that's going on. I still have to talk to Tristan about this, so maybe I'm just going to stick with my male thing for now and just wait until it's about 4 months old to fully confirm, but I'll have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, so here we go. So we've been talking about that topic on and off for a while, and we have been chatting about the little bet that we've been having between myself and Tristan and Scott, so let's see what Steve has to say about that. Other than that, we are going to carry on and keep looking for whatever we're looking here at Chitwa. It might be elephants, it might just be trees and bushes, as we've been doing for the past little while, trying to pick up some tracks. It's been a little bit of a quiet afternoon, a little bit warmer, so I'm hoping by the time we're able to access Chitwa Dam that we'll have elephants drinking, or possibly some nice birding. Even the birds have been a little bit quiet this afternoon, that's for sure. Oh, there's elephants up ahead! Haha, speak of the devil. Sorry, its bum has just gone in behind. So let's carry on a little while. Don't go anywhere yet. We're going to come up to this elephant just now. We're being chased by some warthogs. Thanks, Sabi. Instead of running the other way, they were running towards us. Hello, Ellies. Fantastic. I'm just going to find us a nice little spot to park off and enjoy the view. Now, for now, possibly just the one male. And it looks as if he's going from marula tree to marula tree. It is fruiting season. And those fruits are so high in sugars and vitamin C that it gives them a little bit of a sugar rush. Mikhail, you're curious to know what's the average age of an elephant to live. That would be roughly about 60 to 65 years. I'm sure there's a few that have lived a little bit longer, but yeah, if they naturally occurring, that would be their lifespan. Now, he's also smelling as he's moving around, so it's possible that the marula tree went under now didn't have any fruits, but it's also possible that he's following some females. We've been having a lot of really large herds of females coming through the Chitwa area and attracting quite a few of the bulls. But you see how his trunk curled there, and he's smelling with the wind. The wind's pushing from behind us and then coming around. What I would like to do is I just want to reposition our car a little bit so that we can keep watching him. Alright, now I believe Brent up in the Mara has a huge herd of elephants, not just one elephant bull. So I think let's head on up to him so you can have a look at what a female elephant looks like, and a Kenyan elephant at that, not a South African elephant. They are the same species, but you never know, there might be a few differences. So we'll head on up to him and see what he has to say.
Well, we're still sitting in the same spot, just enjoying this absolutely magnificent view. Oh, go to the right quickly. There's a little elephant chasing geese. There we go, stop there. Look at him. Look at him go! What are you off to? What are you doing? What are you chasing? He was chasing some spurring geese, or there's some hardy-dar ibis, but the goose got away from him. It's a problem when you chase things with wings, little man. Off we go again. Oh, full of nonsense. Okay, that was wonderful. Now, as Noel said, we have a herd of elephants. Well, a herd of elephants is maybe a little bit wrong. We have multiple herds of elephants. So let's come out, Adrian, and let's start on the first elephant we've got over to the, yes, there we go, a little bit to the right, I think. There we go. So there's our first elephant. Let's stay wide, sorry. And it's a little bit tighter. So keep going. And about there, stop. So we're going to just pan, show you how many elephants are in the Samaki swamp at the moment. Just going to do a slow pan across. You see the ellies in the distance. We're just going to keep going. There's a bit of a gap here in the middle where you can just see some birds. And you can see there's actually some rain on its way here. So I might have to move quite soon. We're in golden light at the moment. So there we go. Now the next set of elephants start. And they just keep going as we keep going off to the right.